devil riding shotgun. I even let him pick the tune.
Lost my headphones.
Yep.
I blew it out.
No, you didn't. It switched.
Blew it out.
What's up, everybody? My name is Danny Brevick, aka Big Brev, but you probably know me from this song.
Hoist the colors high.
I am the co-founder of Studio Brev LLC, as well as a retired international opera singer. I was featured on the cover of Opera News back in 2014, back when I was just a wee young lad, and I've been teaching collegiate voice for a number of years. I am now a recording artist and your vocal coach. In today's episode, I'm going to be introducing you to another fellow bass. This is Chet Lawrence, who is a singer-songwriter down in Nashville, Tennessee. Chet just happens to be one of my students in Studio Brev, and when he brought me this original song that he co-wrote with another one of my students from Studio Brev, I was so impressed with it that I decided to fly down to Nashville so I could help him in the recording studio, and I want to take you on that journey.
Come with me if you want to live.
So in today's episode, we're going to be going over what it looks like to write a song, to record a song, and then release that song. So without further ado, this is Angel on My Shoulders by Chet Lawrence. Enjoy. Oh, I know. This is what I was envisioning. The nice bright hat.
Backwards, forwards. I have a white one too.
All right. So you've already met Chet, but now I want to introduce you to another one of my students. This is Jodi. Now, Chet came into my studio in May of 2024, and he had made a lot of progress in that, in like just a few months. And Jodi took note of that, and so she asked Chet, hey, what are you doing to get so much better at singing? And so that's how she ended up reaching out to me in Studio Brev. Studio Brev. Link in the description. When I met Jodi, I was so blown away, not just by her voice, but also by her songwriting ability. And so when I heard Angel on My Shoulders, I knew I wanted to be I wanted to be a part of it in some capacity, right? And so that's kind of how I got involved with all of them. I like that. I like the backwards yellow.
All right, I think we're as filtered. Chat, I love those. You should keep that on.
Overall, just an extremely necessary meeting, getting a lot accomplished here.
Please.
All right, I think I'm blurred. I could be a fox.
You need to turn this off before I get this on all my videos.
All right, this is great.
Just awesome characters, great people. Now, sometimes, any of my songwriters out there, sometimes you get a great idea and magic happens and you have an amazing song, and sometimes in as little as like an hour or 2 hours.
Wow.
Right? But sometimes you got a great idea for a song, but you just can't quite connect all the dots. And so that's what happened here. Chet had an amazing idea for a song, but he couldn't kind of get it so all the stars would align. And sometimes what you got to do in that case is just, you got to wait on it, you got to think on it, and then sometimes maybe even bring in a few more songwriters to really make that magic happen.
I mean, this song has been a long journey for me. I wanted to write a song that captured how I felt about my daughter's influence on my life. And I set out to write this song 2 or 3 different times, and it just never felt like we were capturing it the whole way. It was actually a open mic outside of Bluebird. We were sitting there talking about it, and Jodi happened to have an idea on a song, Angel on My Shoulder, completely different intention for that hook in her mind. And I said, man, that would really work, kind of like, you know, my daughter being the angel on my shoulders as I'm like giving her a piggyback ride or something. And then she's like, oh, I like that. And we kind of went back and forth a little bit.
Now, anyone who's never been down to Nashville, there is a very famous venue down there called the Bluebird Cafe, and this is where very, very, very famous songwriters might even show up and sing some of their like original songs.
Chain smokers and boozers. Yeah, we got yuppies and we got backers. Sunday morning, man, she woke up fighting mad. Bitching and
I just wish you were a better man.
So what they do is called a writers round, where all the songwriters will actually get up on stage and they'll go one by one singing their original songs, and it's a really cool way for writers to come together and meet each other, but also it's open to the public and it's a lot of fun.
You know, my daughter being the angel on my shoulders as I'm like giving her a piggyback ride or something, and then she's like, "Ooh, I like that." And we kind of went back and forth a little bit.
I think the only place in my mind where we differed was I always thought it was about his daughter, about her being the angel on his shoulder, because, you know, people wrestle the angel and devil. Just from knowing Chet a little bit and knowing his story a bit, I guess I kind of envisioned him at one point in his life having both devils on his shoulders, and then the birth of his daughter introduced an angel on his shoulder.
I love that. I love that imagery. So we're picturing a young Chet, a young man, kind of a larger than life, kind of a little wild thing. You know what I mean? And instead of having the devil and the angel, he's just got two devils. You know, he's just a young man with two devils on his shoulders. And I think that's really cool imagery, because then the birth of his daughter gets rid of one of them devils and introduces the angel. And I think that's really clever. I think that's clever writing. I love where Jodi was going with this, and I think it's really cool.
But as Chet does, he took it to another level that was right there that I didn't see, that she could also literally be the angel sitting on his shoulders.
That is such good songwriting. Now we got two meanings, right? We got the devil on the shoulder, and she represents the angel on the shoulder, but she's also physically on his shoulder, like a daughter on her father's shoulder.
Which is like the Nashville gold. We got two solid meanings that make sense both ways. Money.
That's when I said, "Hey, well, would you sit down and write that song with me?"
From there, I was just determined that we were going to get this song done, no matter how hard it was.
And we invited another member of the group in, Lexi. We had a write coming up, and that's another thing that's not too uncommon in Nashville. If you have a write coming up and you meet somebody else that wants to jump in on a write, and it's like, "Well, I got a write scheduled, next week. Let me talk to that writer and see if it's cool if you join with us." And you kind of just patch together these co-write sessions. Sometimes you've never written with them before.
That's one of my favorite things about Nashville is down there, the songwriters, they're not competing against each other, right? They work together, they collaborate with each other, and what you kind of build is like a team, right? You got a team, and you've got people that you write songs for, or you got people that are coming together to write songs, and they just have this great flow down there. So one of my favorite things about producing a song is throwing in lots of little Easter eggs, right? When I produce a song, I try to figure out ways to put little gems either in the background vocals or in the instrumental, or maybe like throughout the lyrics, maybe some dual meanings that people might not necessarily grasp on their first listen, right? And so Easter eggs are my favorite way to kind of jazz up a piece.
And there's been interesting little subtle things with this song that, like, we never planned it this way, but the song came in at like right at 3:33. It was really the song of it. So we edited just whatever little dead sound was on the ends of it to make sure it locked in at 3:33 instead of like 3:32 or something. And there's some like angel references in that.
Now, I don't know a whole lot of these type like angel references. Like I didn't know 333 was necessarily an angel reference. So I just did a quick Google search, and it checks out. The angel number 333 is often interpreted as a sign of alignment, encouragement, and spiritual growth. And so I think that is an awesome Easter egg.
Yeah, there's definitely angel numbers in that. And the fact that like you debuted it on Father's Day, and then whether or not you want me to say this, you released it on your birthday. 8/8, which happens to be his birthday, just lined up that way. And that was also, if you believe in astrology and spirituality, that was like the Lionsgate portal.
Lionsgate portal. I have no idea what Jodi's talking about here.
Jodi can explain that. I don't know.
Yeah. And so again, I took to the internet, and 8/8, it's widely referred in modern spiritual and new age circles as the Lionsgate portal.
A lot going on with this song that I really believe, like the frequency of it. And so the song going out into the world that day is basically a grand manifestation. Like we're releasing that and what the song stands for, because it was released with that extra push of energy. Hopefully it reaches them deeper, it reaches farther. It's like adding like the shooting to a star. It's like Go fly.
So, I mean, amazing. This is amazing artistry to think of all of these little details and put them all together so that everything is cohesive, to write a song that's just, as Jodi was saying, this grand manifestation. I think it's well thought out. It's incredible artistry, and I'm super impressed. And so, as I said, I'm going to be taking you to Nashville with me. So let's hit the road. Let's pack our bags because we're going to Nashville, baby.
Let me tell you a story about my last trip to Nashville. It goes a little something like this.
What's up, y'all? I am on my way to the airport to go to Nashville. Jen will be dropping me off, and someone very, very special will be picking me up at the airport. See if you can guess who's going to be picking me up at the airport. I'll give you a hint. He's got a very, very deep voice. See here, leg room sitch isn't too bad. Couple legs over here. I am at the airport in Nashville, waiting for my good friend Tim Foust to pick me up. Ready for Nashville. Let's go. Hanging out with the boys. Tim, say hi.
Hi.
One of these days.
So let me introduce you to Tim Foust, bass legend, along with my good friend Chris Chatham, who is a tenor legend, and we're gonna be rehearsing for a gig that we were doing in July for the Tim Foust and Friends concert. It was actually on Tim's birthday, and so that's what we're doing here is we're rehearsing my original song "Boots" to get ready for that performance.
Did I do it?
Yeah, that was phenomenal.
Really rumble.
Yeah, just turn the lows up. We'll be good.
My lowest note is a high C.
Tim, what are your dogs' names?
The big white one's Satchmo.
Satchmo.
The other one's Daisy.
Daisy. Hi, Daisy.
They have a lot of different names.
1, 2. Making my way, yeah. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I don't want no flip-flops, ugly crocs on the rooftop at Kid Rock's. I ain't too keen to make a scene at Jason Aldean's in my bear socks. And now we're walking, they're gawking, the three of us talking. Cause we look so smooth down in Music City.
So pretty, we're singing our ditties, doing what we do. Ooh, oh yeah, in our brand new boots, yeah.
I had a blast jamming out with Tim Foust and Chris Chatham. And now I'm checking into my hotel at Moxie. Really cool elevator, actually. So yeah, we're having a blast already. So huge shout out to Moxie. So a bit about Moxie. Chet actually performs at Moxie on Friday nights and Sunday afternoons. And they gave me this room so that I could go down there and help out Chet. I was really impressed with how well they took care of me. And so Moxie is right on 3rd Ave, on pretty much on Broadway in Nashville. And so it was a perfect location for this trip. So Chet is on his way over here now. We're gonna run the song a few times downstairs, get a feel for it, maybe make any changes that we wanna do, just kind of see where this goes. And then we gotta head over to the studio for 6. All right, so I guess let's head on down. Special shout out to Moxie for supplying us with a rehearsal space for this. This gave us a great opportunity to run the song and just kind of work out some of the kinks. There he is, man of the hour. This is Chet. What's up, Chet?
What's up, man? Ready to do this?
Let's do it. So what we're doing here is we're warming up. We're getting Chet's voice ready. So I like to isolate the cricothyroid and the thyroid-retinoid, like the head voice and the chest voice individually, and then we kind of work them together. And then we're just going to spot check some spots in the song and kind of fine-tune it a little bit before we head over to the studio. Yo, this place is sick. Look at this. You can see we're right in the thick of it here. So that's where I'm staying right here, is at Moxie. And we're right in the thick of it here in Nashville. I'm already on Broadway. This is Kid Rock's. So those of you who have never been to Nashville, this is Broadway, and Broadway can get so nuts. Like, I've been there on nights where they completely had to shut the road down because it was so busy. I've even seen videos of big country artists coming and giving full performances right in the street on Broadway. Welcome to Nashville.
Hey, turn that down, Chet.
Oh my God, this is like an airplane.
Yeah.
Wow. All right. So segueing now into the studio. So we are now at the studio. We're going to be recording the entire lead vocal. And it was a great opportunity for me to get down there and coach Chet through the vocals. Like I said, at this point, I've already worked with him on the song many times, but now this is the time that really counts because this is ultimately what's going to be embedded and put out there in the world forever.
He's where Chet's gonna be.
Handles.
Vibe check.
God, he'll sound twice as
Cat
good
and
with
Jet.
these things.
Baby blue eyes, a lot like mine, looking up at me.
So I had a chance to sit down in an interview setting with both Chet and Jodi to go over the full lyrical analysis of this song. So I could break it down myself for you, but instead, I'm going to let you hear it right from the songwriters themselves.
Baby blue eyes, a lot like mine, looking up at me. He's not just looking at his daughter, he's a little bit looking at himself. He wants to give her a better life than he had, so he sees himself in her, and that's the better point of view as well.
I'm trying to climb a left field fence, saying, Daddy, I can't see. So you hopped up on my back for a better point of view.
First verse is written with the baseball game scene in mind, and she literally couldn't see over the fence. So I picked her up, putting her up so she can see. And then another double meaning in that, for a better point of view. It's not just her point of view that changed, it's mine.
So you hopped up on my back for a better point of view. And I had to put my whiskey down so I could hold on to your shoes.
And there's a little subtle foreshadowing in there where I had to set my whiskey down.
That verse can be taken literally. Like at a baseball game, you could have literally had whiskey in your hand, but also for your life, I had to put the whiskey down.
I had to stop drinking. I had to stop doing that negative activity so I could focus on holding on to her.
And I had to put my whiskey down so I could hold on to your shoes. I can't tell if I was raising you or you were raising me. If heaven never sent you down, no telling who I'd be. You used to call me Superman, 'cause I could lift you up and hold you. But you'll always be the hero of my story. You're the angel on my shoulders.
So the chorus really just fell out of me. Like first, like the can't tell if I was raising you or you were raising me. I think we've had that from the beginning.
I can't tell if I was raising you or you were raising me.
I think a lot of times things just like fall out of me, and it's kind of just like the structure that I'm building. I'm like throwing things at the wall, and I'll be like, it's fine, like people get it. And like that's where it's great to work with Chet, because he'll be like, yeah, people get it, but like it could be so much deeper in it. And I think he really did that with this song.
Can't tell if I was raising you or you were raising me. Double meaning.
Yeah.
Right, lifting you up on my shoulders, right? Now, not that she was lifting me up on her shoulders, but she was lifting me up spiritually or emotionally, and there is a little Easter egg in that. For me personally, my father told me that having me when I was born, it helped him grow up. And that always stuck with me. Now I get what he was saying.
If heaven never sent you down, no telling who I'd be.
Heaven never sent you down. No telling who I'd be. There's the reference of she's an angel and heaven sent her kind of deal. If I didn't have children, my life would take in a different turn, right? Or a different path.
No telling who I'd be. You used to call me Superman, 'cause I could lift you up and hold you.
The Superman line, I believe, was in a pre-chorus at one point.
You used to call me Superman. I don't think I'm the only father to ever do this, but I used to hold her in one hand up like that. It was like a running joke kind of thing. She was tiny. She still is tiny. And like I would hold her up. We went to Epcot, and I was just doing that, and like all these tourists started gathering around and taking pictures like we were some sort of act, like some sort of characters. So,
imagery of you holding her up at Disney World, just like a superstar, and people just taking photos. That must have been. I mean, I can envision that right now as you're saying that. That's pretty epic.
Like you could see these little crowds forming. It was wild. It was really wild. I was like, okay, she loved it.
I know, like when we were in the studio recording this, one of the conversations we had was, where do we want the melody to go? Like, what do we want the melody here? Where is it leading? And I do remember one of the conversations we had was specifically going up on the word super.
It makes sense when you think of it melodically. It's going up on super.
Yeah.
It's like flying high, like Superman. Like, it makes sense.
Like, almost, it's funny because these are things that listeners don't even consider. Like, what goes into the thought process of the melody and how it works with the lyrics. Because I think what we landed on was that you used to call me Superman, where we go up on on that. So like even that's like imagery that I think people wouldn't necessarily think about.
You used to call me Superman, 'cause I could lift you up and hold you.
Yeah, I feel like we're there's just some notes there that I'm unsure of. Like there's just some notes there that I'm just a little unsure of. Like what?
Sing that again.
But you'll always be the hero of my story.
Oh, you go up. Story. Ooh, I love that. Chet, what do you think of that?
I can't hear it.
Yeah. Of my story.
The hero of my story.
Yeah, but like story, like he.
Is it getting too much flipping around?
No, it sounds like it goes into the way
The
better.
hero of my story.
No, hero of my story. Close, but you want to put that gap in there still. Story.
Okay, don't hold it into it.
Yeah.
All right. But you'll always be the hero of my story.
That was better, I thought.
It was so much better.
So much, I think it's a lot better.
I owe him like 10 drinks.
There you go, Jodi. You got one in there.
But then you were able to demonstrate, and I can hear it in the exact range that I'm doing it, not in a couple octaves over because it's a female doing it, or it really helps me personally hear where that note needs to be. And I think that really there was one spot that comes to mind that was super beneficial, and I think it was just like the lead before Angel on My Shoulders. Like there's just like a something, like some little run I did, and Jodi was like, well, what if she just ran off like 5 or 6 different options, and you're like, ooh, that one would work well the way you ended that phrase, but with Chet's agility, we can phrase it this way so it gets a lot of movement and it lands where that is, and he kind of polished or shaped that run to fit my voice, and then I was able to execute it in the studio very quickly. That whole process only took like 5 minutes maybe.
But you'll always be the hero of my story. Yeah, the angel on my shoulders.
But then you'll always be the hero of my story, the angel on my shoulder. So kind of every line supporting the next line, all with relevant memories or things to me that hopefully do come alive in a full music video.
There was $2 shots, you call it, at the Whiskey Bell Saloon.
So I didn't love this when I was like, $2 shots, you call them, like, what? I had never heard anybody use that language before. I have to say, after a lot of listening to it and digesting it and putting myself there and asking people if they knew what that meant, I can get behind it.
$2 shots, you call them line. So I guess just starting right there, that I wanted to kind of pick it up a little bit almost. There's a little bit of cadence to that just kind of gives a little bounce coming out of everything, and it's almost a little bit of relief, like a little bit of emotional relief in that. Downbeat, it was $2 shot, like
Yeah,
down.
so it's completely different than how the song starts, which is way more legato. Baby blue eyes a lot like mine.
Baby blue eyes, a lot like mine, looking up at me.
Which is more balanced, has more flow, definitely more fatherly, like more emotional. Then you come into this bar scene. Yeah, it's a little more relaxed, like, because you're after the beat. It's a little choppier too. It's not as legato.
It was $2 shots, you call it, at the Whiskey Bell Saloon.
You know, that was just kind of the bounce, like change in vocal melody to kind of give something different to the ear.
I actually love that the second verse is choppy because it does put you in a different mood. And I think the song overall does a great job of painting two lives, like the angel and the devil. But yeah, the choppiness, I didn't even realize until you just brought it up. Nice job, Chet.
It was $2 shots, you call it, at the Whiskey Bell Saloon. It could have been another all-nighter at a stranger's hotel room.
We had a conversation about this line in the studio. Could have been another all-nighter at a stranger's hotel room. Do you guys remember? We had like a long discussion about this.
So it's heading for another all-nighter or a stranger's?
I think
You know, it could be either one.
I have,
or it could be or.
I have and a stranger's hotel
Yeah,
room?
and
Okay.
this is where I was trying to pull down the lyric a touch from sounding like I was out sleeping with everybody all the time.
Right.
That happens, oh man, every freaking night this
It's
happens.
not every night, it's just once in a while.
Or around.
Or.
Could have been, yeah, because at first I was like heading for it as if like that's what I'm getting ready to go do. Could have kind of sat to me more like, yeah, the opportunity's there, and this could turn into another one of these nights.
Yeah,
but
it could. Doesn't always.
doesn't
It could.
Doesn't always,
All
but
right.
it could.
anymore.
I think the reason there was so much struggle around that line is because we want the character to be likable and redeemable. Like, we don't want to paint him like this villain because we're all just human, right? And at the end of the day, I don't think anyone can really look at themselves in the mirror and be like, I'm perfect.
Another all-nighter at a stranger's hotel room. We were really trying to capture the character really of like my past life, of like staying out all night, partying, drinking, you know, whatever. Trying to tip the hat to an old life and acknowledge that there's been change in the character.
Chet, can we also full phrase all the way through? Till I heard the band start playing.
Till I heard the band start playing.
Yes, all the way through. And then, Daddy, when you coming home.
Till I heard the band start playing. Daddy, when you coming home.
Yeah,
Yes.
and you could put a breath between playing and Daddy. That's totally fine. But that was like, that was almost perfect right there. It's close, Chet. Can we get a little more freedom on it? Daddy, Dad versus Daddy. You know what I mean?
Daddy, Daddy.
Can we punch it like 3 times and just take our favorite one?
Uh-huh.
Let's do that. We're gonna punch it 3 more times, Chet.
You got it, you killer.
Till I heard the band start playing. Daddy, when you coming home. It kind of fit.
I think we might have got it.
Yeah, I think
Let
so
her hear
too.
Got it.
Check it.
Till I heard the band start playing. Daddy, when you coming home. It kind of felt like you said it, so I left that night.
My favorite line is the "Daddy, when you coming home." That's a line in a very famous It's a Lone Star song. So when I heard the band say, you know, playing "Daddy, when you coming home," the band at the bar where he's drinking, and like that line stops him in his tracks.
We were at a songwriting retreat, and Richie McDonald from Lone Star, frontman for Lone Star, was playing and performing. And he played through all those classics. And I'm like, here's a guy that wrote and captured this. He built a lot of his hit songs were built after becoming a father and making observations as a father. And I'm like, and he just captures these emotions so well. And I'm like, man, I love that. And so I'm going to tip my hat to that classic and quote that line out of it. There's one other thing that in that verse, and Brev, you actually was helping when we were recording this, and it's at the very end of that, the "Daddy, when you coming home," right? I could push it with a big, deep, bassy voice, but it was like, no, like, come off softer. You're kind of quoting, even though it's the band, you're kind of trying to capture the emotions and innocence of that.
Till I heard the band start playing. Daddy, when you coming home. It kind of felt like you said it, so I left that night alone.
And then so I left that night alone. That's a little bit of a double meaning there. I left it literally alone and not with, you know, another woman or something like that. Or I just left the whole night alone. Like I just left the party alone, left it all alone, and just went home.
Can we just do the I had the Devil Riding Shotgun look at the tunes?
Did you hear that?
Do the Devil Riding Shotgun part?
Yeah, all the way up to I even let him pick the tunes, but just that much.
I had the devil riding shotgun. I even let him pick the tune. Now I'm singing along to some big song.
Lost my headphones.
Yep.
I blew it out.
No, you didn't. It switched.
Blew it out.
I had the devil riding shotgun, even let him pick the tunes. But now I'm singing along.
I feel like even let him pick the tunes. Like
I agree.
good.
Did.
I feel like Disney could use a little more space on the first vowel. Almost dead.
Singing along to some Disney song.
That might be too far.
Singing along to some Disney song.
That was better. It's kind of sipping back and up now.
Now I'm singing along to some Disney song with me smiling my rear view.
How'd that feel?
It felt better.
That felt better. Sounded better.
Now I'm singing along to some Disney song with me smiling my rear view. Can't tell if I was raising you or you were raising me.
That was it.
If it,
That was it.
I had the devil riding shotgun. I even let him pick the tunes. Now I'm singing along to some Disney song with you smiling my rear view.
The point of the bridge in the songwriting is to summarize the concept, you know, without just generally saying, yeah, you know, your influence has made my life better. Thank you. And I love you for it. Now back into another chorus, right? I wanted to creatively capture that. You know, I had the devil ride shotgun. So you can picture, if you know, that's passenger seat, right? For those who might not know what riding shotgun means. So, you know, basically you heard riding with the devil. It's just another way of saying that, you know, and they even let him pick the tunes, implying that like I was following that lead at one point, like just kind of the reckless life.
You weren't letting him drive quite yet, but you were letting him have major influence over your life.
But now I'm singing along to some Disney song with your smile in my rear view.
But now it's the Disney and the baby in the back and her eyes in your rear view that are taking the spot of his seat.
I'm painting that picture of no longer am I following that lead. I'm following this more wholesome lead, singing a Disney song, and we literally do that. We sing together in the car. So it's actually one of my favorite parts of the song. It is.
Yeah.
It was one of those lines that just kind of the whole visual came and it just came out, and I'm like, okay.
I think it's an incredible bridge.
Can't tell if I was raising you or you were raising me.
And then, of course, this one had a very unique part, and that was background vocals with my daughter. She got her headphones on, and we're talking in and trying to get it and reel all that in to capture this moment. And at first, we had that line just go to her. When it went back through final mastering and through that final tweak on the edit, they layered her voice with mine. And it really kind of provided that cohesiveness that we were looking for. It's like, there it was.
If heaven never sent you down, no telling who I'd be. You used to call me Superman. I could lift you up and hold you, but you'll always be the hero of my story. Yeah, you'll always be the hero of my story.
On the word story, you're getting a lot of awe in there. Can we get a little more O? I think it'll go into an easier, freer spot.
He'll always be the hero of my story.
y'all listen to that?
Yeah.
Will you put another 100 in the bucket?
Is it gonna be?
The angel will always be the hero of my story. Yeah, the angel on my shoulders.
I think it was great to obviously have a vocal coach in the room with a similar voice to yours.
What I like about working with you as a vocal coach is, you know, before starting with you, I was kind of stuck. My kind of voice doesn't do some of these agility things, or some of these upper register things are out of reach because I have such a deep voice. And then you know, when you rip off a Christina Aguilera run, I'm like, oh, okay, I guess it's not out of reach. But then you were able to demonstrate, and I can hear it in the exact, you know, range that I'm doing it.
I look at you as almost like a translator. It's like I say something, he's like, what the whatever, you know, and like he hears it different, but you were a perfect middleman. And
it really helps me personally hear where that note needs to be, having those influences in there during tracking when it matters, right? Like I can do it 100 times perfectly if I don't do it in the studio. And sometimes you just need that extra, yes, this is what we did before, or this is what I'm hearing, this is how you execute it, and be done with it. And that's kind of, I found that very additive to me personally.
I think it was really beneficial.
There are times in the studio when I'm speaking with the producer, or there's a breakdown in communication, right? Like I don't quite understand what you're asking me to do, or you're not quite understanding what I'm trying to say. And then there's just a little bit of blind trial and error to try to figure it out. And hopefully we do. But in this situation, you were able to collect all the inputs and then, you know, output something and having the right team. It's a team effort. Having the right team is important.
It's kind of interesting because normally after a lead vocal session in the studio, I feel fatigued, but I feel like I could go sing another 2 hours right now.
So, from a voice teacher's perspective, when a student says that, I mean, that's a big old pat on the back. That means that the technique is there, that he's using his voice not just effectively, but efficiently. And it's just a great feeling to see your student thrive like that. I mean, he just finished singing for like 4 hours or something, lead vocals. And so that's a testament to his work ethic and to the work that he's put in.
Hell yeah.
Like I'm hyped. I'm ready to go.
That's great. You got another song?
I got lots of songs.
Got another song we can record?
No.
Hell yeah.
Hi, guys.
Have a good one.
Have a good one.
Thank you. Woo! There we go. We got our content for the night. All right. And so much fun. I mean, as you see, there's a lot more to this than most people probably realize. As far as the lyrics go, I mean, they went deep into those lyrics. So again, this was so much fun. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Please, please, please go check out the full song, Angel on My Shoulders by Chet Lawrence. The link is in the description. And support Chet. And please like and subscribe for more of these because I love doing them. All right, y'all. Peace.